reason it feels so difficult for you to be aligned throughout the whole month, throughout a regular, consistent basis, is not even your spiritual routine, but it could be something that's happening inside of your body as a spiritual young woman. One of my persistent struggles as I was a teenager and developing into a young adult was my menstrual cycle. I had dealt with extreme pain from my menstrual cycle. I had so many persistent and so many stubborn and strong PMS symptoms throughout the month due to my hormones fluctuating throughout the 4 weeks of the month. So when I started tracking my cycle and noticing that there was a week of just extreme negativity, I always knew it was because of my PMS symptoms and because of fluctuating hormones. It wasn't until when my period ended when the cloud of negativity would disperse and I would just go back to being, having positive expectations and being happy and being grateful and seeing everyone the way that I know they truly deserve to be seen, which is through a positive expectation and seeing their true character. So let's get into how I started to realize to be more conscious during this period of time before my cycle started, taking action and how I'm using being more conscious of these hormonal changes for my spiritual routine and my spiritual I guess we can say hygiene when I'm doing my rituals and when I'm doing my meditations and when I'm keeping myself in a high vibration for the majority of the month. Because I spent so much time in doing these practices, it's not something that's difficult for me to do or something that requires a lot of effort. But when those hormonal changes do hit, they hit me very hard, and it can always feel like a hole that I can't dig out of until my period is just completely ended. And then I regain energy, I regain strength, I regain my positivity, and then I'm back to being normal again. So when I was 19, I decided to be more conscious about the unwanted changes in my personality. I decided to do more research about women's hormones and about how they can negatively affect me during certain points of my cycle. A little bit of research, I found one resource, one book that was amazing. However, at the time when I was researching about this, I actually didn't think that I had any or I should say, any unbalanced hormones. And I also won't lie, kind of spiritually bypassed the idea of having unbalanced hormones. I was not knowledgeable about it at all, and I didn't consider that it was affecting me. I just decided that it would be another research topic for me to learn about and for me to study. And I didn't see it from the perspective of this is affecting me. Even though I knew it was affecting me, there was something within my energy, within my subconscious mind that didn't want me to have access to this information or didn't let me admit to myself that I actually needed this help or this information to get my hormones and get my energy fully back on track. Because I bought a book that spoke about women's hormones in a holistic way, and I'm gonna mention the book for you guys. I thought it was gonna be a sort of encyclopedia about hormones and holistic remedies for that. It actually took me a year to really read this book and discover that I actually really needed it, and it was the answer to the problem that I was facing that I didn't even know I had. So again, I was aware of the unwanted negative changes within me, but I didn't know that there was a sort of remedy or this was experienced by other people. And I just assumed that this book was not going to have any help or any direct answer to my specific issues. I came across one archetype because again, this book is broken down into specific archetypes of women who might have higher levels of a certain hormone or lower levels, or they might have a combination of both. Now, I do want to preface that I'm in no way I don't have anything related to medical training or medical advice. I'm just saying that this is strictly from what I gathered from this book that I'm about to show you. So the book that I found is called The Hormone Balance Bible by Dr. Sean Tassone or Tassoni. This is what it looks like. Basically broken down with some explanation of symptoms that you might experience and also experiences that the author has in his clients and the type of behavior that they exhibit when they have these certain unbalances with their hormones. I found one archetype. I'm not going to go into all of the archetypes because this is just not the video for it. I think that I'm just trying to speak about my personal experience. But if you are interested in learning more about all the different archetypes that are in this book, or even if you are curious about it and know someone in your family and your personal life and friends or someone that could use this, you could find a solution here. I really recommend it. I found an archetype that is very similar to me and also very similar to my mom. She started taking some of the supplements that are recommended in the book and she got results. It helped her with her energy levels and it was just related to the hormone imbalance. And of course she has her own doctor who she's following up with more specific supplements for the rest of the things that she wants to work on. But just from one recommendation from this book helped my mom with her energy levels without any prior diagnosis or without any extreme behavioral changes that she shows, because she doesn't have consistent behavioral changes. She just had like energy level dips, and one supplement that was recommended from this book helped her with that. We also have someone who's like a family friend and also and someone that we work with that she had a similar issue where they would just get tired around 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. And she was using the same exact supplements, and now she has energy available to her all day. So, in this book, I became aware that I was a woman dealing with low progesterone. Also, I should have Googled this before I did the video. I don't know if it's progesterone, but it's that hormone. It actually, when I read the book and I talked to my mom about it, she said, well, I actually she had dealt with low progesterone when she was my age. So that's how I discovered that it was hereditary and something that I was currently dealing with without understanding the cause of. After reading the book and understanding where I was kind of lacking in my hormone levels, I had experimented with over the counter contraceptive. It was just for understanding how adding that hormone changed me behaviorally and mentally for around my period and stuff. And when I tell you guys, again, this is not advice I'm giving to you, I'm just giving my personal experience. Maybe you deal with similar symptoms or maybe you don't. So I would do your own research very carefully, because you could actually have normal levels of this same hormone and you could have a different hormone that is unbalanced and you don't want to mess with them too much. So if you are a young woman, whether you are spiritual or not, maybe this is your sign to look into checking in with your body and seeing, is there any other way that I can heal you? Is there any other way that you need? Is there something else that you need healing with? Is your body asking to be heard? I always believe that these PMS symptoms that I experienced shouldn't have been normal. And I know that not everyone has the same experiences. And in the spiritual community, there's a lot of talk about healing your womb and healing that feminine energy that you have. I was always drawn to it, yet I felt like it was not something I could control or something that I didn't know was affecting the way that I was manifesting in my life. I had experiences where 2 weeks or 1 week and a half before my period, I was manifesting chaos. I was manifesting chaos within myself. And sometimes it would affect my physical reality because I was projecting onto other people. I was harming other people by holding these negative images and concepts of them and developing paranoia and anxiety that can destroy and can ruin certain relationships that you then have to manifest yourself out of. So that's just something I wanted to bring to your awareness and make you curious about. And that's something that I personally experience and something I'm working on. There's no shame in having to do some research or take a supplement or two to help you feel balanced and back on track and ready to continue manifesting your desires and continue living out your dream life.